If you aim for the stars, you might hit the clouds.
They don't have the budget, they don't have the time, but they still need to get the job done.
My whole business is built on relationship.
The number one way for us to get a lead is network. Hey everybody, welcome back to the podcast. Today we have awesome Jodie. Jodie works with non-profit as well as for-profit organizations, so it's a very awesome mix of both worlds. Jodie, why don't you tell a little bit about yourself and what do you do and how do you do it so that people understand who they're listening to?
Awesome. I will. Thank you so much for the opportunity to chat with you today. I've been running the marketing side. This is my 10th year in business. And things have shifted over time. I kind of started out helping businesses with social media actually, and it quickly morphed into websites and digital, and I had a little mini tiny agency for a while, but in the last 2 years I've stripped everything back and I'm working as a strategic marketing consultant, as an outsourced CMO or fractional CMO, a bit like you, Nazmul, who works with organizations to build strategy for marketing but also to execute it. So I work as a marketing consultant. I also work as a messaging specialist. So I'm a words person. I'm that one that's going to find the word to really hit the nail on the head, and help people. People often find it hard to explain what they do because it's complex. They're busy running a business. But really simple messaging, really clear messaging is important. And the third thing I do is I work as a social media trainer with organisations, often helping councils, land care groups, not-for-profit community groups, people in the community who are really passionate about what they do, and are making the world a better place, but they have no budget. They don't have much time because they're working another job. And so they really need to leverage free platforms like social media as well as they can. So giving them some principles and some basic understanding of social so that they can impact more people and make a difference in their community.
Wow, that is fantastic, and I love how you just said it out loud, right? They don't have the budget, they don't have the time, but they still need to get the job done. And if you can help those kind of people, that is amazing because anybody can help with people or companies who have millions of dollars as a digital marketing budget. Anybody can do that. For everybody who's listening or watching this on YouTube, there are two kind of people who should be watching this podcast, right? One, marketing consultant. If you are in marketing and you want to become a marketing consultant, I think this podcast will really help. At the same time, if you're running a nonprofit, I really think this podcast will help you as well. So let's take one thing at a time. You as a marketing consultant, can I ask you this? So even before we started the podcast, we started talking about it a little. Can you talk about what kind of clients you work with and how do you help them?
Yeah, so I work with a lot of the clients I work with are in the not-for-profit space, so charities, community groups, organizations, people who are doing really good work, but are not about purely making a profit. But I do also work with local businesses. So it used to be startups and small businesses. Now it's kind of more medium businesses who have a thriving team. They're a growing business. They aren't big enough to employ a marketing consultant full time, but they understand that marketing is a really important part of helping them grow and reach their ideal client. And so they've embedded me in the organization a day or 2 days a week to build out that marketing strategy and then execute that marketing strategy, working with the staff that they have in-house and working really closely with the owner or the CEO, the managing director, whoever is the person in charge.
Yeah. Can I ask you this? Because you are a marketing consultant, right? And you're a fractional CMO. Oftentimes, because I'm a fractional CMO as well, and I've been doing this for the last 6 years. So there are times when there are clients who have been with me for years and years, and there are clients who just left within 3 months, right? Can I ask you this? The two companies that you're working with or organizations that you're working with, what is so beautiful about you and what kind of result do you uh, deliver? And they're like, oh my God, there's no way we can stop working with Jodie. What is that thing?
my business client, my managed IT provider, we've been working together for 7 years.
Yes.
And that managed IT company, their tagline is, "You should know, like, and trust your IT guy." Because everybody has IT and they have problems and it causes stress and lack of productivity. And their whole business is built on relationship, and my whole business is built on relationship. So for me, what you get is what you see. I'm going to tell you the truth, even if you don't like it. I promise I'll try and be gentle, but I'm not going to pull my punches in regards to if you're spending all this time spinning your wheels in social media, pointing out that maybe we need to flick things to a LinkedIn first approach, because actually you're trying to talk to business owners and that's where they're hanging out as opposed to social media. So I'm not afraid to fail. When I first started working with this IT company, um, the owner, has genuinely gone from client to friend now, he said, "Look, I don't have very high standards. I know that it's going to take us a long time to get IT marketing right. There's a real niche, and like I'm not expecting much." And I was like, "Ouch!" Like he thinks I don't know what I'm doing, and I was like, quite upset about that. But actually, it was really wonderful because what it showed me was that he wasn't afraid to try things and he wasn't afraid to fail. He knew that it was going to be a long game, and it was a long game. It took us multiple years of consistent messaging, getting the website right, investing in photography, really refining their services, understanding their ideal clients, and creating messaging that really resonated with them. That took time. And it took us time to crack Google Ads. Now their best source of leads is from Google Ads, but it took us years. It took us years to get that. And it wasn't like people talk about turning on a tap for leads. It's not simple. It's not that simple. There's no silver bullet. It takes time. Like you might get somebody to your website, but if they get to your website and it's slow to load, it's boring, they can't find the information that they need, they're just going to bounce out and it's a waste of a lead. So without doing all of that groundwork, we wouldn't have cracked the success that we have. But this year is his 11th year in business, and 7 of those years we've worked together. So that's personally deeply satisfying. And he said to me a little while ago, I'd been working in the business 1 day a week for about 18 months, and he said to me, "It kind of wouldn't matter if you raised your prices. Whatever you put them up to, I would have to pay it because you are so essential to my business." And that sounds like a flex, but genuinely he said that to me. I did put my prices up, not insanely, but I did put my price up because he understands the value that consistency and a strategic approach brings, and he's not afraid to trial things and to test things. So yeah, we have a great relationship in that
That's
space.
fantastic. That's fantastic. Can you share one or two small mistakes, or even big, right? That you probably did, and after doing that, and after recovering from it, you're like, "Oh my God, I wish I knew this, and my marketing consulting career would have been a lot better." Would really appreciate if you share one or two of those things.
Yeah, so one of those sits in that social media space. So I've been doing training, running training. I created my own course at the very beginning called DIY Social Media for business owners who couldn't afford an outsourced social media manager. It was at the beginning when Facebook was kind of really just launching, and people were like, "Oh, we have to do social media, but we don't know what to do." So I created this course about 7 years ago, and that kind of has morphed. And in that social media space, as a social media trainer, I spent a lot of time focusing on that early in my kind of consulting. And it was actually Glenn, the CEO of this business, who's like, "You know what? I know our social media is good. It's really cool, but it's not really getting us any return on investment. I would really like us to play. I'd be interested to see what happened if we were in LinkedIn, if we focused more on LinkedIn." And I was like, full disclosure, I hate LinkedIn. And he was like, "I know, but I think we have to do it." And I'm like, "Fine." Okay, so that was about a year ago. And so even though I didn't want to do it, I knew that it was the right thing to do. And since we made that switch to a LinkedIn first approach, all the content that we're creating for LinkedIn is then repurposed across social. It's repurposed for Google Business. It goes into client comms and different blogs on the website and stuff. So all of that content is still used, but shifting the focus from social into LinkedIn because he's talking to business owners, okay, office managers, business owners who want to have really smooth running IT in their business so they can stay productive and they can stay profitable. So that was a really powerful shift, and I was like, I got kind of dragged kicking and screaming into the LinkedIn space, but I'm really glad. And he pointed it out, so I wouldn't have learned that without him. So your marketing consultant can still learn stuff.
Thank you so much for sharing this.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, it's really hard for us marketers to say, I made a mistake with marketing, but that's the truth. We all make mistakes, and it's okay to admit it. It's okay to say, you know what, I knew it. Maybe I should have tried it, but I did not. And that's okay. Thank you so much for sharing this. I'm 100% sure a lot of other people can relate as well. And I hope this saves a lot of time for somebody else, like somebody else who wants to become a marketing consultant, right? How do you get leads for yourself, you as a marketing consultant?
So at this point well, this is my 10th year in business, like I said. For the first for the first couple of years of business, I was working in the business part-time. I had a part-time job that gave me a really lovely structure and support and scaffolded my business for the first couple of years. And then I made the leap into full-time employment on April Fool's Day. A smart day to go full-time self-employed. And since I did that, I've never looked back. But it was a scary, terrifying thing. But then when I was full-time in the business, I knew that networking would really need to be an important part of my strategy in regards to meeting with business owners, finding out what they needed, how I could support them and help. I spent 3 years in BNI. I found a local BNI chapter. I threw myself into that, and it was an incredibly powerful tool in learning how to network, learning how to listen to people, introduced me to a lot of quality business professionals in that space. And so for 3 years, that was about between 40 and 60% of my leads and my work was coming from that referral source. Other than that, it was ongoing work or referrals from existing clients. That was a really powerful way for me to get leads early on.
Yeah, yeah. And my take on it is exactly the same. I've talked with a few different marketing agency owners as well, and marketing consultants like you as well. All of them say the number one way for us to get a lead is networking, is to go to business events and obviously create meaningful relationship and have meaningful conversation and not just talk with anybody and everybody. But out of all the marketing channels, a marketing consultant can try. So far, I have heard this over and over again that networking has helped them most. So if you're listening to this, definitely start going to different kinds of events. Absolutely.
And there's a strategy that you can use for that too, Nazmul, because I worked with a business coach for 6 years, and I only just stopped. He's just retired, but for 6 years, I just got such gold from him. And he said lots of people go to networking events. One thing that I learned in that networking space, and I learned this from my business coach, who was an incredibly wise guy with about 39 years of experience in business. He said, when you go to a networking event, a lot of people go and they net coffee or they net chat. They don't network. And so when I went to a networking event, he would set me the goal to speak to 3 people, like get 3 business cards, so that I could follow up within 3 days, either a phone call or a text or an email, that I could set a meeting within 3 weeks. Okay. And the first time, 333. And when he told me that, he's like, okay, so you're going to this networking event. And I'm like, yep. He's like, okay, well, I'd like you to consider this. And I was like, oh, what? That's unachievable. He's like, well, you don't have to do it, but that's the goal. Anyway, I was like, right, I'll show him. So I spoke to 3 people. And I followed up 3 people, and I didn't get 3 meetings, but I did get 2 meetings. And it was a really powerful reminder to me that if you aim for the stars, you might hit the clouds, but if you aim for nothing, you'll hit it every single time. Like having that little goal, that little personal goal for me was like, if I'm going to invest the time in going to a networking event, there's often a cost as well. If I'm going to take that time out of my business, it needs to have a direct return on investment in, and I need to work those opportunities and find the people in the room who are my people, either their potential referral partners or their potential clients. And my job is to go in there like an investigator and see who they are and if I can connect with them in a meaningful way.
Yeah. Can I ask you this, because you just talked about referral partners? So I'm a marketing consultant. At the same time, I have an agency, and we have about like 43 full-time people working with us right now. And the one of the best ways we find clients is through referral. In your opinion, like, how do you approach somebody, for them to sign up as a referral? Like, what do you tell them that they hear and they're like, oh my god, I should become, I should refer clients to her? What should be the strategy behind it, and what are the steps somebody can take?
There's two things you need to do. First of all, you need to build connection with them, and it needs to be genuine. And the best way to do that is to ask questions and listen. It's not to go in there and go, oh, you're a bookkeeper. I love working with bookkeepers. They make great referral partners to me. So this is what I do. It actually, you genuinely have to find out about them. Who do they work with? Do they work with not-for-profits? Do they work with startups? Do they work with finance? Do they work in IT? Who is their sweet spot? And are they across the marketing budgets? Do they see people that are getting ripped off in regards to paying big marketing bills, or are they seeing people not pay anything in regards to the marketing line of their budget? So a bookkeeper can be a great referral partner, but it depends on who they're working with. Because if they're working with multi-million-dollar businesses, that's not my space. Okay, so it's about understanding who they are and building rapport. And then the second thing, after you've kind of made that connection with them, is actually letting them know who an ideal referral partner is. It's like, a great referral partner for me is a business coach who's working with a business owner who goes, this business owner is stuck and they need a great marketer. It can be a bookkeeper or an accountant who knows that their client is trying to launch a new service, but they're not spending anything on marketing, or they're spending way too much on marketing and not seeing the growth that they're looking for. So it's about understanding those adjacent industries and people who can feed, who are already working with the clients that you would like to work with, and them just being really clear on who you are and who you serve. Like, if somebody's working in a multi-million-dollar IT business, I don't care. I don't want to work with that. They're too big. They've got their own teams. They're spinning their wheels. But a small local IT company that are passionate about genuinely serving their clients and building relationship for the long term, yeah, I'm here for that.
Let me put it this way. So we talk about mistakes, and then we talk about the awesome, beautiful things that they do. So in your opinion, when they start a nonprofit, it's been 2 years or so, but now they want to see that they are helping a lot of people, right? What are the top one or two mistakes that you see them doing when it comes to marketing?
Usually they're not doing anything. There's this scattergun approach. It's like, oh, we've got to do a social media post, or oh, we need to send an email to our database. There's no strategic plan. So often there's just this real ad hoc patchwork of things, and they're calling it marketing, but they're not necessarily building towards anything concrete. So when I work with an organization, the first thing I do is, working with the CEO or whoever's in charge, is say, okay, what are your organizational goals? As an organization, who do you serve? What do you want to do in the next 12 months? And they go, okay, well, we want to get this grant. We need this grant funding. And also we are launching a new service to parents of young children. Okay, we want to work with more parents of young children. Great. Two really, really clear strategic goals. So what we do once we have the organizational goals is then craft the marketing goals to fit the strategic organizational goals. So we go, okay, we want to get more grant funding. So does our website demonstrate our impact? Are we communicating stories of impact across social media, as in Google Business, databases, LinkedIn, emailing people that have supported us in the past? How are we telling the story that shows that we're good at what we're doing? And one of my clients came to me and they were so embarrassed. They do amazing work. I said to you run on the smell of an oily rag, and they said, actually, Jodie, it's a borrowed oily rag. I was like, okay, you guys are really tight for money, but they work so hard. They're so passionate, and they said I built them a website. They came to me because they'd been ripped off by another organization, and they were referred by one of my referral partners. They came to me. They were their IT company, and they said, hey, this organization has been ripped off. They need a website. Can you help them? I was like, sure. And so we built them a great website. We took the time to understand who they were, who they served. We invested in a photo shoot, beautiful families, mums with kids, kids at home running around in the park playing, beautiful photos. And then we put that on a website, and they said to me, once that website went live, they said, we've never had so much money, because now when we put our website on an application for a grant, it gets approved because they can see what we do. They understand the impact that we make. And we look so good. They're like, thanks for making us look good. I was like, you were always good, but you didn't communicate it. Your digital assets, your communication, your marketing didn't reflect the services that you were actually offering. So all we did was make the abstract concrete,
Yeah, yeah. With one last question, and then we can close the podcast. Can you tell everybody, like, how can a nonprofit or anybody else improve their messaging? Why do people not understand how important it is? If you would love to hear your thoughts on it, and how can they improve their messaging that might really help getting to their goals sooner?
So people often find it hard to talk about what they do because it's complex. Okay, they're not a words person. They're busy running a business. They don't have a one-size-fits-all approach. They've got lots of services, and so when you ask them, so what do you do? They're just like, "Ugh." you know? So the key is to work with somebody who can ask them those questions, find out what the most important things are, and then arrange that into a framework that just rolls off the tongue. I genuinely, I've switched when I was building websites. I found that I was doing this for every client anyway, and so then I separated it out and made a messaging workshop, a messaging frame to give people a messaging framework, because they need a tagline, they need an elevator pitch, they need to be able to tell their story. But unless you kind of lay it out for them, they get stuck in the weeds. They're often too close. They need to work with someone who has a little bit of perspective and says, oh, this is what you do. And they're like, oh, yeah, it is. Oh, you've really nailed it. And it's like, yeah. So those fresh eyes sometimes really help. So working with a messaging specialist is genuinely one of the best, most long-term, um, best investments you can have that's going to impact your organization or your business long term. It really, when you can get it clear, my tagline is, you deserve clear marketing. It needs to be really, really clear because people's attention spans are really short. So if you can get your messaging right and understand who you are talking to and the difference that you make, the problems that you solve, all of a sudden it just becomes a no-brainer. It's like people understand who you are, what you do, and how you help. And they're like, oh, great, let's do that. You just clear away all the confusion and make it easy for people to work with you.
Yeah, yeah. No, this was fantastic. Jodie, how can people find you?
Oh, look, I'm everywhere. If you Google the marketing side, if you search the marketing side, you will find me. I have a website, themarketingside.com.au. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I haven't broken the TikTok cherry yet. I am on YouTube. So yeah, if you Google me, you will find me. But it's easy to remember. It's just like, oh, I just need a bit of help with the marketing side. Yes, the marketing side. That's it.
Fantastic. That is an actually really good name for people to remember it, right? With that, Jodie, thank you so much for being on this podcast. And if you're anybody who's listening to this podcast, if you're listening to this podcast on any of the platforms, do follow us. And if you're listening to or watching this podcast on YouTube, hit that subscribe button and hit that like. Thank you so much, and see you on the next episode. Take care.
Thanks. Bye.